Welcome back, another episode Life with Your Dog. My name's Panos. Today we have another Q&A that's come in. It's been a little bit since I've done a Q&A, but this is from Lauren, and she's from Chicago. A regular listener of your podcast. Thank you for all the advice and tips. Really appreciate that. And thank you for listening. I'll read it out real briefly. I'm just going to catch a couple of words here and there. I don't like reading out loud, and I don't think I need to read all the paragraphs because it's quite a lengthy one here. But basically, reaching out for some guidance. She has a 3-year-old terrier mix, adopted a rescue about 2 years ago. Working with the trainer on and off. Don't know what that means. We're going to talk about that. And since I had him, working most about obedience training, leash manners. He's made great progress, continues some challenges, but her youngest son, who is 7, fine with her older kids, but very wary of the youngest. So her youngest is 7. Most have been using management to handle this. We're in separate rooms unless I can supervise. My son's playing, I use the crate. I thought things were getting better. Recently, dog growled and snapped at my son while he was playing. He did not bite or hurt him, thankfully, but the behavior is of course concerning. Struggling with him whether or not I can continue simply by manage the situation or consider rehoming the dog. Rehoming would be difficult. I've had him for 2 years. I worry through maybe the dog being in a home with a young child and of course other children that are coming may not be a good fit. Apologies for the long message, don't apologize at all. I've talked to a trainer, he encouraged us stay on course, suggested tips on how to make this work. Do I have any thoughts to consider? So, it's a long one. I did write back to Lauren, and I'm sure she's going to listen to this. And I wrote back to her about a week and a bit ago, so I'm not sure what decision's been made, if she's just carried on. But what I said to her is that, look, obviously it's very, very hard to give any, I can't give Lauren specifically any advice. We can talk generally, and we can talk about some hypothetical situations. For me, I can't get to Chicago, so I offered maybe we can do a Zoom session, be a little bit more specific about a situation, what's going on. But ideally, having somebody one-on-one is the best. She's started to do that on and off. Something like this can't just be an on and off sort of experience. We kind of want somebody who's going to commit to the training, basically until we see it through. And it sounds like, again, I could be wrong, but just from that email, that she said we worked on leash obedience training and leash manners, but we should be focusing on counter conditioning and desensitization and making your dog feel good around your son, and also teaching your son how to engage with your dog, and of course your management, which you've been doing, but we want to have a long-term management system, so we're not somebody messes up and accidentally leaves a crate door open, the one on the side that you don't realize, this and that, and things can happen. So today's episode's going to be about addressing some things to consider for sure, but anyone that's listening who's in a similar situation or a situation that you can relate and this gives you some advice, they're only going to be general, right? Now, one of the things that I did say is that your safety of your child's always going to be number one at all times, no matter what. If you have such a hardcore management system and you have a place where your dogs are, you can maintain them, and that you're semi-professional or professional person with the dogs, then you know how to manage your life and the dog. And there's certain dogs that don't have to be running free around your kids. But if you're an everyday person living with your dog, it can be very, very hard decision to make. But of course, remember, a bite, even on the hand, isn't just a bite, because it could be an infection, it could lead to serious injury, trauma, and of course, a lot worse depending on the dog, depending on every situation. So, and of course, other people coming over to your house, if they're going to have children and they're coming over and your dog accidentally got through the door and now he freaks out by a child running straight at him because that child wants to pat him, and then he bites him on the head, we have a problem. You said terrier mix, that could kind of mean lots of different stuff. I'm imagining in my head medium to small. We're talking a bully, or we're talking like more of a Jack Russell sort of terrier. So, but the energy of it is important, is that regardless of the size, 5-kilo dog, 35-kilo dog, that making sure that we're setting everyone up for success is always going to be number one. But the hardest decision is, what do we do? Is rehoming the thing to do? And you need to have the discussion with the family, your significant other and whoever else can kind of, I would speak to everybody if it was me. I would say, how does everybody feel about the dog? And kind of make it like more of a understand everybody's perspective. is everyone going to follow through if we do go down the route of behavior modification to make all of this work? Because if there's going to be weak links in the chain, then that's where everything falls apart. Consistency is everything, and if your husband's not willing to do the things that need to be done, then maybe better for the dog, because we got to think about it. Your dog is growling and biting and snapping at anybody in this sort of context because of fear and insecurity. So he's not doing it to be dominant. And again, I'm just assuming, I haven't even seen a video of any of the behavior, but